Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Hanging Out with K-Dubs. That's me. Today we got, obviously, John here, who's been on the podcast a few different times. But we've got some fun and interesting things to talk about today, and I'm looking really forward to this because he's going to be on a new adventure, and we're going to get to that in a little while. But first, foremost, thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me back.
No, of course.
Again.
Anytime. I told you you're welcome back anytime. Just like told all my guests that too. Come on back anytime. I don't care. It's always good to catch up and learn new things and see where everything is heading into the future.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, definitely.
So thanks for coming back.
Yeah. Like I said, thanks for having me. It's great.
It's fun.
It's fun.
It's always fun.
Yeah. I mean, and close drive home. So that's the best part. You know?
Yeah, you live so far. Well, hey, we got some cool things to talk about. We'll get to your new adventure here in a little while.
Yeah.
But according to your Snapchats, which were fun, and obviously, you just took a little trip back down to Tennessee.
That we did.
So what was going on and who all went?
So every year, the city of Pigeon Forge, it's if not every weekend,
Dollywood.
every other weekend, Dollywood, baby.
Dollywood.
Miss Dolly Parton, the queen.
So I'm told.
So during the spring, summer, and fall, every weekend or every other weekend, they have some sort of vehicle event going on, and the Rod Run is pretty much their kickoff in the spring. So it's a 4-day event. There's 6 miles of the main strip of both sides of the road, every parking lot to every shop that's down there, every store that's down there, loaded with old classic cars, hot rods, whatever you can think of. Anything that you are looking for or whatever, they have it. Rat rods, pickup trucks, all of it.
No kidding. So from classic cars to homemade things to
100%
restored to originals.
Even there's a lot of it's restored, a lot of it's custom, remodel, restored stuff, Pro Street, stuff like that. A lot of rat rods, which are the build it out of your garage, jalopies,
whatever you got,
any
throw
parts
it together.
And pieces you got, throw it at it. One of the biggest things that we saw this year that there was a lot of.
Wait! I gotta stop you. So, is that the reason you and your friends and your team or whatever went down there? Is for this Rod Fest?
So every year, me and my dad. And then a couple of our buddies go down, depending on who's free that year, who's available, whatever. So we get a group of us that go down every spring because that's their big kickoff to the spring, summer events and everything.
So how many have you been to?
Spring ones, this was our 4th, I believe.
Oh, wow. So you literally go every year then?
Yeah. And then the other ones, when we started going down and seeing them, we used to go down to Tennessee with my parents in September, and they have a fall Rod Run, which is kind of like their closer to the whole thing. So they open the year with the Rod Run, they close the year with the Rod Run.
That makes sense.
And when my parents first saw it, they kind of stumbled upon it because they set their trip up on just the right week that this was happening. So they come pulling into town. Well, they Pigeon Forge before you get to Gatlinburg, and their place is in Gatlinburg. So they come pulling in through Pigeon Forge, and my dad's like a kid in a candy shop. He's like, why is there 50,000 hot rods down here? What is going on? Well, through the Facebooks and everything else, you start finding out, hey, this is an annual thing. They've been doing it for almost 50 years down there.
Really?
Yeah. So it started.
Is it just people from the local area, or is it people from all over the United States that go there?
There was cars out there that had like custom cars out there that had license plates from Arizona, Nevada, New York. I mean, that everywhere.
No kidding.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yep. It is. It's neat. You meet a lot of really cool people. You can kind of, if you are like paying attention to the people around the vehicles, like the home built ones and whatnot, you can really immerse yourself in that kind of culture and learn a lot from those people because everyone's willing to talk about, even if it looks like a 69 Camaro, they might open the hood and it's got a 5.0 Coyote motor in it. And as soon as you go, that's not an LS or a small block Chevy in there, what is going on here? They're going to take a half hour out of their day to tell you, well, it started, I had a Mustang that I wrecked, and I had this Camaro laying around in the yard, and like we took the Mustang motor and put it in the Camaro, and it's just so many, even the trucks down there, there's a bunch of old like international trucks and C60 Chevys and the F6s and all that kind of stuff.
F100s, oh hell yeah.
Oh, tons of F100s. I mean, but all these guys with the big trucks, they're putting them on 3,500 newer style frames with the old bodies on them, and they've got the new motors in them. So they've got the new 6.7 Power Strokes and the new Duramaxes and the
that
Cummins.
Takes so much engineering, though.
Well, the easy part about when they just do like the body swap onto the frame.
Yeah, I guess everything's there.
It's more fabrication than anything. So you got to find a way to get this 70-year-old body to fit on a 5-year-old frame and chassis. And make it all look right, because
make it work.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of cool. Just the stuff that you see down there. I mean, there's a lot of very unique builds that you see down there. I mean, you see a lot of the same stuff. There's a lot of 71 through 78 C10s that are orange and white two-tone and small blocks, and everyone wants $35,000 for them because they're clean.
Of course.
But
of course,
a lot of the other side of things that you see is like, I mean, you see MGs driving around and Nash Healy's driving around, and it just oddball stuff.
Well, I seen on your Facebook page when you posted all those pictures.
Yep.
I went through those, and there was one that stuck out to me, and I don't know why it did, but it did. You took a picture of a van.
A Volkswagen van.
Yes.
So the guy, I got the story on that. So that whole frame and suspension and driveline and everything is all 100% custom built. So everything from the front to the back, underneath the body of that van is 100% custom built.
The frame and everything.
All of it, yes. All of it.
Really?
So what he did was he had a body off of an old Volkswagen van that the bottom section of it, X amount of inches of it, was rotted out. So he said instead of doing the body work for it, he just cut the van in half. He cut half of the bottom of the van off, including the headlights. If you look back at the pictures close enough, you can see where the headlights, he took a grinder with a diamond wheel on it and cut the lenses of the headlights.
I'll have to look back on that because I didn't see it.
He has the whole thing on air. So he has a target top on top of it, a canvas rollback top. So when it's, I wish I could remember his name so I give him a shout out right now because it's cool as hell. Speedy Cop. The guy's name is Speedy Cop.
Hell of a name.
Speedy Cop. He's on YouTube and Facebook and everything. So when he sets the whole van down on the air, the bottom of the body is dragging on the ground.
When he lays it down that far.
There's zero clearance. The air suspension is set up to where there's zero clearance between the pavement and the vehicle.
Jesus.
When he airs it up all the way so he can drive, there's probably only 6 inches of clearance under the body to the road. So when he has it all the way down, he has to roll the canvas top back, and his head sticks out. He looks like Wilson from Home Improvement. All you can see is his eyes sticking out of the roof of the van.
Well, like I said, I seen that van, and I was like, okay, that's a little unique.
Yep.
I'm going to use the word.
Yep.
And then I thought to myself, man, why would you spend the time and energy to make that when there's so much cooler shit out there? But now after you got done talking about that cool stuff and what he did, okay, that's pretty cool. I mean,
and not only that, but I mean, think about it. You're seeing all the other cars cruise the strip because not only do they park and have the big giant car show, but these guys get in their cars and they drive them. They drive them 6 miles down and turn around and drive 6 miles back. So all night, all day, you've got just hot rods cruising up and down the strip, which is really cool. But look at it this way: why would you build something like that? A lot of the pictures that I took were like very unique. I have a very unique style of the photos that I take.
It was just the whole van itself was just unique, and it caught my eye. I know that.
That's the thing is like building something like that is kind of like the first time we saw it, we were on the opposite side of a 4-lane road with a big median in the middle. And my dad's buddy, Pat, he looked over and he goes, "What is that?" And he pointed and I looked. I'm like, that's a VW van cut in half. And you just see it rolling, just half a van rolling down the road. So it's like, it's just, oh man, just stuff like that is what really kind of gets my brain going. And, it's just,
it's
the
cool.
different things you can do.
Yeah, it's so cool because I was just going to say, like, when you get down to something like that, there's endless possibilities.
Oh yeah.
And it doesn't
absolutely.
matter if it's a van or a Chevy or a Toyota or a Pontiac or whatever.
Yep.
There's just so many different variables and opportunities and thought processes out there that people look at this and go, yeah, I think I can do this with this, and I think I can do that with that. And then you think about it and go, how the hell did they make that work?
Yeah, and that's the thing is like just the garage engineering. I mean, you sit around and you have a couple beers with your buddies and you're like, how are we going to make these coilovers work on a perch for the back of this frame that we're working on? And you sit there and you have a couple drinks and you're looking at the material you got laying around. And you're like, well, but if we took that piece of steel and we welded it to there and we just modified it just a little bit, then you could take your axle and put the spring into there and have your adjustments. And it's just the whole culture behind it is really neat because I say this in like non-derogatory way, but anyone can buy a non-restored 60s, 70s, whatever, like hot rod and send it to someone and say, hey, take the body off. I want a frame off restoration, whatever it costs. I don't care. You get it back. It's going to be a showstopper. It's going to be beautiful.
Absolutely.
But the thing that I like about the culture is like, we're working on limited budgets with parts and pieces that we got laying around. I got a couple motor blocks laying around. My dad's got a couple transmissions laying around. Being able to take that kind of stuff and put it all together and, build your own custom parts and pieces to make it all work. I think that is just so cool having the ingenuity and the creativity to be able to do something like that.
No doubt. So the whole reason you guys literally went to Tennessee was for
the rod run. Yeah, that's it. Yep. Every April. That's the only reason we go down is it's a kickoff to our spring. It's a kickoff to their spring. And like I said, so there's like two sections of the rod run. The unofficial rod run is the one that's down the main parkway through Pigeon Forge. The actual rod run like show is held in a convention center they have down there, the LeConte Center. And in the LeConte Center, there's the caliber of these cars that are in there are ridiculous. I mean, you're talking $1 million hot rods on their show floor. $1 million hot rods. Yes.
How the hell do you even make that work?
It's a lot of time and effort going into them. I mean, there was, I don't remember what car it was that won the show last year, but the guy said that because they have the build sheets on everything and he had $750,000 invested into this car.
Jesus.
And that's all it does. It drives off of a trailer into a nice carpeted arena, sits for a weekend in the arena. They don't even put fuel in them because of fire marshal laws. You can't.
They push it in.
So they roll it into the arena, and then when they're done for the weekend, they put on their white gloves and they roll it back into the trailer, and it goes to the next show the next weekend.
God, I bet they're beautiful though.
Oh, they're gorgeous. The paint jobs are like a mile deep on these. When you look into them, it'll look like a maroon metallic car.
Yeah,
from
don't
50
start.
feet away.
You can't talk colors to me because colorblind as shit. Yeah. So I'm sorry, you can't. You really can't talk.
It looks like a normal gray when you're looking at it. But when you get really close, you're looking into these paint jobs, and they don't stop. Like they're just so perfect and pristine.
Well, I'm sure that's where a lot of that money comes from is the body work and the paint jobs.
That's exactly it. I mean, it's
everything else. Yeah, you can find, you can purchase, you can find at junkyards, you can find at aftermarket places. But once you get to the body work on these things,
that's the big part.
And you don't want to use Bondo, probably. Nope. Most of these things are original, whether they're from the 80s, 70s, 60s, whatever it's going to be. They're probably original body paint panels. Yeah. And then they restore those things. Yeah. Put pieces in, grind them out, whatever the case may be. Yeah. And then whether they're painting them themselves or taking them to a body shop to say, I want you to paint it this way. Yep. You know they're going to be top end. Yep. Especially for cars that are vehicles, not even cars, vehicles that are worth that kind of money.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's ridiculous. I wish I could just grab this camera and take you guys into my head and show you what was like inside that show, because I don't take a lot of pictures when we're inside the show because it's cars that you're going to see posted all over the internet anyway, because they go to all the big shows. They go to SEMA and the World of Wheels and McCacken shows and rod runs and everything else that they do. But just the caliber of those cars is on a level that I can't comprehend. So I appreciate it and I look at it and I'm like, that's freaking neat. But when it comes to like Jed Clampett mobile driving down the road, I look at that and I'm like, that's feasible. You know, there's a big difference between something that is absolutely gorgeous. That's like looking at.
It's like looking at $1 million property and a $200,000 property,
yes,
right?
yeah,
So you can look at $1 million property and go, God,
that'd be sweet.
The house is beautiful. The outbuildings are beautiful. It's on X amount of acres. God, I just love to have that. And then you look at a $200,000 place and go, I can make that work. I can make that work because of X, Y, and Z.
Absolutely.
It's the same kind of thing.
Absolutely. So
it's building hot rods with money and building hot rods without money.
Yeah, 100%. And that's so going back to the show. I mean, that's pretty much what it is. Like your main show is at the LeConte Center in the parking lot just outside. So they have like an actual car show outside where everyone's parked in their stalls and like their actual show cars in there. And then just past that, they have a big swap meet and, vendors and everything else. But the unofficial rod run is more or less what we go for because that's what's down on the strip. Like I was telling you earlier, 14 miles of walking in 2.5 days.
That's a lot.
And those 14 miles were nothing but looking at cars. We didn't go walking on gallivanting on, stream trails looking at waterfalls. This was all just walking the strip and the show, looking at hot rods and cars and trucks and like I said, anything you can think of. And everything down there is for sale. Everything.
Oh, I'm sure.
They don't show up there if it's not for sale. And there's guys walking around with wads of cash just buying cars up. I think we saw 3 semi car haulers going out with 8 or 10 cars on them. Yeah. And it's most of it, like even auction places.
For those that don't watch, my eyes just got really big.
Yeah. But even like classic auto auction places will send down their salesman or whatever,
find their deals that they're looking for,
cash, and say, this is what we're looking for our auction market or for our classic car dealership. Go find them. We'll have a semi there. Load the semi and don't come home till it's full.
No kidding.
Everything, anything and everything. Anything
That'd be
and
a cool
everything
job.
that you could want to buy is down there. Whether you want 32 Ford Chevy coupe sedan hot rod rat rod, or if you want a 1995 Chevy pickup truck that is absolutely spotless with a 350 that has 20,000 miles on it, all of it you'll find there.
It's all there.
All of it. Everything, for the most part, everything is like 99 and older, but
yeah, I'm sure you're going to have a few things that aren't.
Yeah.
Just because they're showstoppers or whatever the case may be. But
yeah, no, it's crazy.
There's a deer on the road. Sorry, people. Sorry to interrupt.
You
just
better
caught
not
my
stay
eye.
there too long.
Oh, there's another one. No, that's really cool if you're into classics. If you're into classic vehicles, if you're into hot rods and rat rods and things like that, that sounds like an amazing place to go.
It is. It's great. It's a great weekend. We go down. Normally we leave Wednesday. The show starts Thursday, so it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and kind of Sunday. But most people are gone and leaving Sunday, so we go down on Wednesday.
Got to beat it back to work Monday.
That's it. Yeah. So we go down Wednesday. Take Wednesday, Thursday, Friday off. So we go down Wednesday. Wednesday night. Normally we'll do dinner and take lawn chairs and go sit down on the strip and watch the cars start rolling in. And then Thursday, Friday, and Saturday is just all walking and looking and bullshitting with people and
dreaming.
We met a couple of different groups of YouTube hot rod builders down there. Tim and Jenny from Peace and Grease Garage and Corey and Hannah from Corey Wheat Customs. Like we met those guys and just how down to earth they are. I mean, they're thousands of subscribers and millions of views and this and that. And they take a half hour, 45 minutes out of their day to talk to you personally and like get to know you just because you're interested in what they built.
That's what it should be.
It's a whole different world. I mean, I've met music artists and stuff before, and you do your meet and greets and it's walk up, hi, take a picture, leave. And it's everyone in that hot rod community. I've even met like Cletus McFarlane and them guys down at the Dragon Drives last year. Even those guys that have millions of followers and hundreds of millions of views, it's like even those guys that are in the car community, they want to talk to you and they want to interact with their followers and their people and this and that. And
which is what should happen.
Yeah,
like
it's so cool. They're so personable.
The people that are supporting them, they're turning around and giving support back.
Right.
Whether it's just having a bullshit conversation
Yep.
or somebody who is wanting to learn how, what, when, why they built this.
Yes, 100%. Yep.
So it should be that way, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's just really neat. I don't know. I like I said, the whole culture and the community and everything that we ran into and the people that we met this year, and it's just just so down to earth. You know, I mean, just people that you look at and you watch and you're like, that's kind of cool. I want to do something like that someday. And then you see them in person. That Tim Miller from Peace and Grease Garage, he just built a rat rod in the rat rod build off for Psycho Silo down in Lisle, Illinois. They do a big rat stock show every year, and it's thousands of these rat rods all come together, and they do a big show down there. And they had a build off last year, and he built this 6x6 1935 Ford pickup with basically a cabin instead of a bed, like a log cabin instead of a bed.
That's pretty cool.
And he had that down there. And when I say a 6x6, all 6 tires were 38-inch Swamper, Super
Hell
Swamper
yeah.
boggers on it.
Go anywhere he wants.
The thing was so cool. I mean, it was so cool. And we were coming up, we actually just parked, and they were coming out of wherever they were going for lunch and whatnot. They were just going back to their vehicle. And my dad's buddy, Patty, goes, Tim Miller. And Tim turned around and looked. He's like, hey, how's it going? And we just went over and started talking to him and bullshitting. And they're from like Central Ohio. So they go all the way down there for the show. Corey and Hannah Wheat, they're from Indiana. They go down there for the show every year. And like you get builders from all over the place bringing their stuff down there. And it's a good time.
All right. So to clarify for the viewers that have no idea what the hell we're talking about, because I'm sure there's going to be a few. Tell me the difference between like a rat rod and a hot rod.
Yeah, so you got your muscle cars, which are
Obviously
Chargers, Challengers, Camaros. Everyone, for the most part, knows those. Your hot rods are like American Graffiti. So you got the 32 Ford coupes and the old song from the Beach Boys, the Little Deuce coupe. You got your 32 Fords and your 32 Chevys, and the hot rods are the ones that have the big shiny chrome motors and the real nice deep paint jobs and pinstriping and this and that. And then you get your rat rods, which is what people like you and me would be able to build out of anything we have laying around the yard in a 1-car garage.
Whoa, don't put me in this.
Well, yeah.
Because first of all, I don't have a lot laying around my yard.
But just in general, pretty much anyone, anyone that has any motivation to build a vehicle
and just use whatever supplies they can get their hands on.
Use whatever's laying around, you can build a rat rod. So the rat rods are the ones that you see that have the rusty looking bodies on them, and just the motor could be green, the rims could be blue, like old style shit that's thrown together, and it's just
not modern technology, not nope. 2000 and above. It's 1970s
normally 50s
and less.
Yeah, normally what you see is like from the 50s, because a lot of everything from the 50s and earlier is so rotted out that people can't do anything other than junk it. And then there's people like me that would look at it and be like, if only the bottom couple inches of that whole body is rusted. So if I cut that off and found an S10 frame or found a Crown Vic frame from a scrapyard or something
that was in halfway decent shape,
I can put this body on there and put a motor and a transmission in it, and
now it's a rat rod.
Now you got a rat rod. And the thing that I love about the rat rods is no two of them are the same, and it doesn't matter what you do to them, they're going to be cool. They're going to be cool. We saw one down there that had like a 60s Ford cab on it, and the front end, that like the whole front clip to cover the motor all the way up to the grill and radiator, was off of a Ford 8N tractor. The whole front clip was off of a Ford 8N tractor.
Oh, that would be pretty cool to see.
It was neat. I didn't get any pictures of it because the only time we saw him, he was driving. We never saw him parked. And every time I'd see it, it would be too late. I couldn't get my phone out and get a picture of him in time. But, I mean, it's just something like that. That guy most likely had a cab, or a buddy had a cab laying around in a field, or he saw a cab in a field and he's, had that he sourced. And the same thing with the front clip of it. And he's like, well, all I got to find now is a junkyard frame and a junkyard motor to put in it, and we got something going, So that's the whole rat rod thing, is just the rusty and slammed and lowered and, whatever. Just anything that you can find and put together and make run and drive is pretty much a rat
Got
rod.
it. Well, I wanted to clarify that for some of the viewers that were out there, so they have an idea what we're talking about. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. This podcast episode is sponsored by Dan's Diesel Performance. If you're looking to improve your truck's performance, efficiency, or appearance, check out Dan's Diesel Performance. They manufacture turbochargers, fuel injectors, fuel pumps, transmissions, intake piping, and much, much more. Plus, they offer all the top brands in the diesel industry. They're located in Machesney Park, Illinois. Visit their website at dansdieselperformance.com or give them a call at 815-977-5865. And we're back.
Yada.
All right, so thank you for clarifying about the whole hot rod, rat rod thing.
Yeah.
Which brings us to our next topic, is something that you came out Thursday with.
Yes.
And that is...
Rusted Customs.
And let's explain to everybody what Rusted Customs is.
Rusted Customs is going to be a YouTube page. I have the Instagram set up for it. My personal Facebook page is just going to be where I'm sharing everything for now, for the most part. But going back to the rod run thing, getting the inspiration from the biggest inspiration was from Peace and Grease Garage, because their name is Peace and Grease because they pick up pieces of stuff that have grease on it and throw it in a vehicle and make it run.
Well, it's come before that, though. Let's be honest, because the last time we had this conversation here, you were talking about
the 76, the K30.
Well,
the C30.
And you were talking about building a garage
and
building a facility at where you're at.
Yep.
So you can work on vehicles at your leisure all year round. That's still in play, right?
It is. Well, I think I want my first project to be the rat rod. I think I want the first project to be the rat rod out of the original garage on the house.
Okay.
Because it'd be in a small garage, something just kind of thrown together, build it piece by piece as you can, just something like that. And then once we get that under our belt, my plan is I want to get that built and get it going and, get everything the way that I want it on it and make it pretty sweet for being a rat rod and sell it. And any profit off of that, I want to put into what we're going to have on our next garage.
Got it.
So that's kind of
the first piece you want to kind of make it original as original can be.
Yeah.
From Mr. John Barton.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, I know my dad's side of things, he's very detail oriented and whatnot. So my dad's side of things, like, I'm sure he's going to pick up some C10s and whatnot that are going to be, good paint jobs and nice body work and, big motors and big tires and good transmissions and this and that. Pretty much like my side of things as far as my side of building goes. Honestly, I think the rat rod that I'm starting with, I think I'm going to name it Tetanus.
Well, we're gonna get there. Yeah. We're not there yet.
Yeah.
So talk to me about this new Facebook page of yours, because you have the first video out.
First video came out, Thursday. Yep. And it's pretty much just an intro as to the projects that are laying around the yard, old vehicles that I got, what I have planned for them, the 78, the K10 that I built, that motor's getting pulled out. Now we're doing a motor swap in that, and that's going to start in the next couple of weeks. So it's like all this stuff that I do anyway, with or without a camera in front of me, there's no reason not to just video it. And, maybe it'll even, not only for people to get entertainment out of it, but just to maybe help someone if they're, I want to put a big block in my 78 K10, or not even just that, even just I want to put a big block in something. Well, here's a video that, like, this is showing me pulling the small block out and prepping the big block to put it into this truck.
Yeah, not saying it's right, wrong, or otherwise.
No, not at all. Not at all.
But John Barton, this is what I'm doing in this specific situation, because It's what I got laying around the yard. That's what's going to work.
That's it. I mean, I have some content for the second video queued up, and it's
sweet.
Pretty much showing how I'm mocking up how I'm going to set the body and figure out like my heights and stuff without even having anything in the garage. You know, I mean, so it's just, I don't know. It's just kind of the stuff that I do in my daily life anyway. And, you know, like I said, the hunting scene was kind of drying out and I was losing interest in it. And I've, since I was a kid, been into hot rods and racing and rat rods and everything else. And it's just, I think it's something that's going to be more entertaining from my aspect because I'm not going to have to fight to try and make the content.
Well, like I told you off camera, you know, the when you did the first YouTube channel, and it's talking about hunting coyotes and things like that.
Yep.
That's tough because you only can do that 5-6 months year round.
You've got a limited window.
At most 5-6 months. And you have to create enough video and enough content to get you through the whole year.
Yeah.
And that's really, really tough, especially after a winter like we just had, which was a very, very easy winter, in my opinion. We didn't have a lot of snowfall. Didn't have a lot of cold weather, which means they weren't moving. They weren't hungry. They had a lot of things to eat.
To forage on. Just being limited on land and space and places to go and do it.
I was going to bring that up next. And having limited area to do that. It's not like it's like, you know what? Let's go to this mile block over here today and let's go to this mile. You can't do that where we're at. It just doesn't work.
And if we were out west, it'd be completely different.
Agreed.
Out there,
100%.
you've got the public land and you can do whatever, like Colorado, Wyoming, whatever. But around here, it's not feasible unless you already have that kind of expendable land laying around to be able to do stuff like that.
And that's tough. And where we're at, we have a lot of different people who either like hunting, hate hunting, neutral in the whole situation. So you don't want to be barking down doors that way either. So this, I think, could be a really, really cool thing for you.
I think so. And like I said, the best part is like all of this, it's all just going to be done at the house. So it's like, when I get home from work, I'm always, you see my Snapchats, I'm always tinkering on something, no matter if it's cutting and splitting firewood, which that's going to be part of the page too. Like I said, it's between Rusted Customs is basically just a lifestyle page of what I do. So it's whether it's working on motorcycles or working on hot rods or hey, we're going to cut and split firewood today.
Holy crap, I got to put a new window up there because that's broke for some reason.
Right. I mean, it's just going to be an overall like, hey, this
country
is
style living.
This is kind of what's going on. And, you know, most of it is going to be geared towards the gearhead stuff. The gearhead stuff, because that's like
I know how it works. It's all going to be, a lot of it's going to be geared towards that.
Yeah.
Until all of a sudden you're looking at all of your videos and go, I don't really have much.
There's a lot
this
of the
week.
same thing. Yeah, right.
Let's maybe change this up a little bit, or cut wood, or use the tractor to do some shady shit that we haven't really done before. I totally get it.
Or
totally get
the honey-do list stacks up and, hey, guess what? We have 18 chickens that need a coop. So guess what's going to be on YouTube?
We're going to talk about that in a little bit. We're not going to get there yet. Yes, but we're going to talk about that in a little bit.
Right,
so, Rusted Customs.
Rusted Customs.
Your first project that you're going to do for this YouTube channel is?
A 1932 Chevy sedan. Rat rod.
Which you have bought the body for already.
I have acquired the body. I picked the body up on Tuesday. So it was up in Belgium, Wisconsin, like a half hour north of Milwaukee. And we left work. I took a buddy of mine from work with me up there. I'm like, hey, I'm going to need a hand loading this thing onto the trailer and whatever. Yeah, I'll go with you. How far is it? It's only like an hour and a half from where I got the trailer from over at Trevor's house. I borrowed his small one. It's only an hour and a half from there. I mapped it when it wasn't rush hour.
Oh, shit.
So following the old GPS to Belgium, Wisconsin at 3:00 in the afternoon going through Milwaukee.
Nice.
That hour and a half trip took 2 hours and 20 minutes to get there. And on the way back, we were looking at the maps, and it was red from north of Milwaukee all the way down through on 43. So we just decided to start flipping coins and picking back roads, and we worked our way west.
And then south.
And we worked our way south, and it took us 2.5 hours to get back.
Well, you knew it was going to be the same amount of time going up.
It was a
back,
good trip.
I guess.
It was a good trip. The guy had a lot of really cool shit in the garage that we bought it from. And,
Where'd you find it? Did you find it like on
Marketplace?
Facebook Marketplace? I was just going to say.
Yeah, I've been searching Marketplace hard. Probably I've been looking really hard for about the last year and a half to find
the right thing.
Just a body. I didn't want a whole 1932 Chevy or Ford. I didn't care what it was.
Why
Ford,
not?
Chevy, whatever. It's
Why
a lot
not?
more. Well, it's a lot more work when you have the fenders on it, the frame on it, the motor in it, the windows in it.
Yeah, but think about the next rat rod you build. You could have had all that stuff.
I could have had some stuff
I'm just
for
saying,
it, but
that's all.
the hard part with the rat
Says
rods
the guy
is-
that's not building rat rods.
Yes, yeah.
Saying, you know.
The nicest part about buying just this shell is it's basically if you were to give an artist a blank canvas and
Correct.
say, do what you want with it.
Yeah.
Because the frame, the blueprints are coming in today because today's Monday, right? This comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the blueprints are coming in today for the frame that I'm building. So I'm going to
So you're going to build a frame from scratch?
custom building a frame from scratch.
Really?
I ordered a set of prints for a 1932 Chevy sedan, lowered as much as I want it lowered. I want the car to sit 4 inches off the ground.
Oof.
So
Don't drive it down these roads.
you won't be able to take a beer can or a pop can and stand it up underneath the car when it's sitting on the ground.
That'll
So-
look pretty cool then.
It'll be cool. I wanted to do air for my first car.
Wait.
Put it
I
on
got to
airbags.
stop though. Where did you go to get blueprints like that?
eBay.
eBay.
You type in your year, make, and model custom frame blueprints, and guaranteed there's a seller somewhere that has a set of prints for it.
Really?
And it comes. Oh, so this is what's really funny. My buddy Tim, I want to say it was about 12 or 14 years ago. He had a 35 Ford pickup cab. I want to say it was a 34, 35 Ford
Whatever.
pickup cab. Yeah,
Yeah.
somewhere in there. He went on eBay and ordered a set of blueprints for building his own lowered frame for that to turn that into a rat rod. He actually completed it and sold the rat rod off of that set of blueprints to make the frame. He found his old blueprints and brought them into work yesterday, and he was showing me the prints that he has. And he's like, well, shit, I wonder if these are the same ones, the same guy that you bought it from. He's like, where's it coming from? And he has his in his manila envelope already still. And it says Roberts, Wisconsin on it. And I'm like, well, shit, I don't know. And I pulled up my eBay and I'm sitting there and I scroll through and I find it and I click track package coming from Roberts, Wisconsin.
Same guy.
Same guy.
That's cool.
14, 15 years later, whatever it is, same guy still building blueprints for frames for specific cars.
That's cool.
So I told him, I said, I wanted it, I basically want the frame channeled because you got to Z channel the frame to get everything to sit down so low. I said, I want the frame channeled at 15 inches or whatever it is to get it down to the height that I want it. Because the old Roadsters and coupes and sedans, they were as tall as the 1500 is nowadays. A brand new F-150 or Chevy 1500. So you got to bring them down a ways to get that kind of look for it. But they send you the full prints. So I'm going to send the prints out. I'm going to get them laminated first. But I'm going to take pictures of them and send them out to like 3 or 4 different steel companies and get quotes back on seeing what it's going to cost for them to source the steel, whether it's raw lengths and I have to cut it, or whether it might just be easier for me to send it out to them and have them cut the angles and the miters and everything else on it because they have all the tools to do that.
Correct. Okay, so I've got some questions because it sounds like you've already put a lot of thought process into this build. Do you know what engine and trans you're going to put in this thing?
350 and a 400. So Chevy 350 small block with a turbo 400.
Yeah, correct.
Yep.
Okay. Is that frame going to be big enough
Yes.
to hold that?
Yeah. These frames are set up. His stock plans and prints that he goes off of are set up for a 350.
Okay.
So
Which a 350 and a 400 are, I think,
the 350
external, I think
they're
they're
pretty much the same. It's
yeah,
just the
super
gearing and-
similar. Yeah.
So they'll fit. And I messaged him. I messaged the seller the plans just to make sure, like, these are my plans. I have a Chevy 350 sitting around and I have a turbo 400 sitting around. I want to build the car off of this. And he says, yeah, you won't have any issue. So
Gotcha.
going back to where we were.
Yeah, go ahead. I've got like 7 more questions.
I know.
Go ahead.
I know. So I might answer a couple right here. So building the whole frame out and everything else. The reason that I wanted to buy just a body instead of a whole car is because if I bought a whole car and it was in decent shape, I would feel terrible cutting the entire floor out of that car.
I get it.
Because I'm going to have to set the frame on the ground, and then I'm going to have to set this body over the frame so I can figure out where I need to start making my sheet metal floor pans, because everything in it has to be custom.
Correct. To make everything fit to the frame that you need to do.
So the setup that I bought, like I said, there's zero floor in the whole thing.
Yeah, and it's literally just
It's
the
just
doors,
the body,
the cab, and the roof.
That's it.
And the roof has got some fun things on it.
The roof has some really cool details. So the old cars like that, they used to have canvas tops on them with just buttons. So you would have your waterproof canvas, and if it was nice out, you would roll the canvas back, and you'd have basically a sunroof through the whole car. If it started to rain, roll the canvas forward. Well, after 10, 15 years, that canvas dries out and weathers and sun faded and everything else, so it starts to tear. So I'm guessing you can kind of tell by the age of the screws and the tarnish on the metal that's on the roof. The original owner to this car at one point got fed up with the leaky canvas top and he cut sheet metal to fit the whole opening on the roof, and Phillips self-tapper screwed it down screw by screw by screw. There's got to be 500 screws in the top of that roof around the frame or around the perimeter. That took a little time. Every single one of them is put in by hand. So, and then you look on the inside, and their headliners used to just be burlap that was stapled up to the wood, because half of the cars were framed with wood. I mean, half of the inside of the cars were wood. So you look up, and all the burlap is gone, but the whole wood slat framing is still in the top.
Still in the top.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Yep. So it's really cool, man.
For 75 years old, that's pretty cool. You know, that's what the car is, but by the time that they pulled that back off, put the sheet metal in, it's probably 75 years old.
Yeah. Yeah, basically. Yeah. So it's cool. It's gonna be a fun project. I've got parts I'm looking for. I'm looking for a Ford 9-inch rear end, and
okay, so that was my next question, right? So obviously you're gonna have the lowered frame.
Yep.
You're gonna have the Chevy 350 with the 400 trans in that thing. You're gonna put a Ford.
I want a 9-inch rear end out of like an old Maverick or something like that. A kind of more narrow. I don't want one out of a truck because the trucks had the wider rear ends.
They did.
So I want like one of the old muscle car 9-inch rear ends, because it'll hold tighter to the body, and then whatever gap there is between the outsides of the axle and the body, I can make up with offsetting the rim. So correct. I can either pull the rims in
or
and get it real tight, or spread them out if I have to.
If you want to.
Yep.
Depending on what style that you want to look at then.
And that's the other thing. You don't know, like, do you go with the skinny cookie cutter tires and white walls, or do you go with like a...
God, no. For the love of God.
I'll show you a picture after the podcast.
That's fine, but don't do that.
If you're going
to have a Chevy 350 in that sweet thing with a 400 trans, get yourself some nice tires and rims on the back side of that thing.
My next thoughts were not just on the back, but all the way around, doing like the NASCAR black steel rims with yellow letter Goodyear Eagles on them.
I'd be okay with that. Just not the white wall. Come on.
I think I'll show you a couple pictures, and I think you might change your mind a little because it looks cool. Because I mean, this thing ain't gonna go fast.
Don't need to.
It's not a go fast car.
She'll burn some tires though. That's what I'm getting at.
Well,
it's going to burn some tires.
You can't run 6-inch wide tires.
You can't run 6-inch wide tires and burn them things. Come on,
looks like two motorcycles doing a burnout side by side down the road.
Exactly. You don't want that.
Yeah.
You want to lay a nice strip down there when you do that thing.
My plan is, though, I mean, once I get this thing done, my plan is to daily drive it outside of a work vehicle to daily drive it during the summers.
Okay, so are you going to modernize the interior then on that thing, or what are you going to do?
Right now I only have one.
But things can change. Things can change. So your initial plan for this episode is
I have a seat right now out of a 80s-ish, late 80s, early 90s cement mixer, and it's the jump seat for the passenger side that was never used. So every cement mixer would get those seats torn out of them. The guys would take them out so they could put their lunch boxes and stuff there. I have one of those seats. And when I mocked up this body on the ground, I had that seat sitting in the attic of my garage. So I went up, I pulled the seat down, and I set it on a 2x12, right kind of where the seat's going to line up to begin with. Climbed in through the cowl and sat down in this seat. And as I'm sitting there, my arm goes perfect on the door, and my eye line is perfect out the front of the window. I'm like, shit, this seat is perfect because it doesn't have the backrest. They're about the height of this without the headrest on them. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, this thing's nice. So I started looking Marketplace. They're all over. They're all over. So I think that's going to be my seat setup in there because they are pretty comfy. I mean, I'm not planning on driving this thing across the country, but it's something that like it's
up and down the road to hot rod meets, whatever.
Yeah. And it's something that's different. Someone's going to look in it and be like, what are those seats out of? Turns out they're out of a out of a cement mixer truck. You know, I mean, like it's just something that's kind of cool and different. I did mock up the seats out of the black truck in there, the original seats out of that, and they were just
too tall.
They were too tall, and they looked out of place because they're wider and they're taller in the backs, and they didn't look right. So it's like you kind of need some sort of little bucket that's just sitting in there. And
so, have you thought about what you can do for like power steering? Are you doing power steering in those things?
I'm looking at two different ways. You do put power steering in.
Well, it's a rat rod, so it could be
and it's
one way or the other.
A lot of it depends on what front axle you go with because you can get a rack and pinion front axle pretty easy for them.
Yeah, I'm sure you're probably going to do a straight.
Yeah, it'll just be a straight axle with some sort of rack and pinion. But I also did see down at the Rod Run, a lot of these guys are going to Copart and LKQ and whatnot. And on these newer cars that are totaled, like the newer Kias and stuff, you can get a whole steer-by-wire system, electronic steering system.
Oh, that would be slick.
For cheap. And then you just mount the module and box on the firewall. You run your wires up, and any steering wheel will work because all it needs is just to have the diode in the middle so that way it tells it where it's turning to. And then you just mount your rack and pinion box behind your straight axle. So I might do electric steering or power steering.
That's slick.
Yeah.
It's simple.
Yeah. Yes. 100%.
It could be simple.
It could be a pain in the ass, but for the most part, from the videos that I've seen on it and whatnot, the way that the guys are building these and they're kind of integrating them with these older cars, it's pretty straightforward.
And the fun thing is like, this is going to be your first one.
Yep.
So once you get to this point and you get it running and you get it driving down the road, you can look at it and go, God, I'm going to do this different next time because this was a pain in the ass. This worked out slick. 100%. I want to continue to do it this way. This was a complete nightmare. I'm never doing this again.
Yeah.
And you can build your next one based on your first
how the first one goes. Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what you're building the next one, whether it's a pickup truck, whether it's a sweet rat rod, whether it's a 1969 Camaro, it doesn't matter.
Right.
You're gonna learn really, really quick with your first
what works and what doesn't.
What works and what doesn't.
Yep. And that's gonna be. I mean, the cool thing about this one is obviously being a sheet metal worker. This is a very welding and sheet metal heavy project because, like I said, there's zero floor in this car, so the whole floor pan and axle coverings and transmission tunnel and everything has to be made by hand and welded into place, and everything has to be just kind of designed out by yourself. You get the blueprints for the frame, but ain't nobody that makes blueprints for a floor pan in a 1932 sedan rat rod.
Well, they might, but you're not going to do it that way anyway because the whole frame is different.
Right. That's exactly it. So I mean, it's going to be a really cool project just to think on, like where I'm going to want to make these panels inside removable. So if we have to service the trans, hey, maybe we don't have to jack the car up and put it on jack stands. Maybe we just put nutserts in the floor and bolt the trans tunnel down so that way we can unbolt it, pull the trans tunnel off. Now we've got access to the top and bottom of the trans, and whatever we need to fix we can get to. For the rear axles, I mean, the coverings for the axles and the tires and the fender wells and everything, who knows? You make shit welded in, you make shit bolted in. That. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the thing that attracts me to it the most. And like I said, since I picked up the body, my imagination has just gone wild. It's gone nuts. It's nonstop of just thinking of ideas of what we're going to do and how it's to the point where I have a notepad with me most of the time where I think of something and just write it down.
Honestly, I think everybody should.
Oh, 100%.
In my phone, I have... It's a Samsung, for those of you that don't like that. Fly kite. I have Samsung Notes. Mm-hmm. Dude, I've got so many freaking things in that thing, you would be shocked. anything from, like you said, ideas to thoughts to lyrics to journals to comedy to everything.
Yeah.
I've got different sections in there that when I think of something, I'm like, oh, I should probably write that
throw
down.
it in there.
Because
because if you
it
don't,
could be cool. It might not be cool.
later on that day, you're thinking back like, oh, what was I thinking of earlier? And it's gone.
Exactly.
It's gone forever. You know?
Exactly. And I just take the 30 seconds, go in there, type it all in, and it's saved.
Yeah. Yep.
And then I can always go back 6 months later and go, God, what the hell was that all about? And you scroll down, you click on it, and you go, oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I've got same thing in the notes on my phone. I've got a whole section of my notes that are all just like things that the kids say or things that the kids do that would make great comedy bits. Let me tell you, this one is hilarious. And I really hope people watch along this far because they'll get a laugh out of this too.
I'll make a reel out of it.
The other day, Beck brought home a beta fish, one of the blue beta fish. So
you guys have an aquarium?
No. No, well, no, not well. It's like a little desktop one, you know, nothing crazy. So she brought home a beta fish, and I don't know if it was for her or if it was for Wyatt, but either way, she's bringing home stuff all the time. So she brings this beta fish home, and she was in doing her crocheting, and I guess Wyatt was in there eating lunch or whatever, and he meanders through the house all day, does his own thing, and she said that it was oddly quiet for oddly too long. So she got up from her crafting desk and walked into the kitchen and said, Wyatt's standing there looking at the fishbowl on the counter, like the one that they come from the pet store, and looking at the fishbowl on the counter. So she starts looking at the fishbowl and she goes, Wyatt, where's the fish? And he looks at her and goes, huh? She goes, where's the fish? And he goes, in my pocket. He grabbed the fish out of the and put it in his pocket.
He wanted a buddy to carry with him.
Put a fish in his pocket. So, yeah, I thought that was hilarious. I mean, the fish is fine. She grabbed it out of his pocket, and it's still alive now. But, yeah, he grabbed the fish and threw it in his pocket. Where's it at? In my pocket.
In my pocket.
It was great.
You got to love kids.
When we had Willie, I was extremely nervous because I was young. I was 19, and having kids early. I mean, having kids just in general, but having kids early for me, because I was a kid having kids, not only have I grown up a lot from it, but like the level that I get along with my kids, just because of the fact that there's not as much of an age gap
Correct.
as normal parents and kids. It's funny. I telling my kids jokes that like they understand now. And when they just start cracking up, and even I'm laughing a little bit because it's a stupid joke. Like, did you know that boys have 3 knees?
Mm-mm.
They got a left knee, they got a right knee, they got a weenie. So
simple.
I told Willie that.
Funny.
And Willie's my oldest. I told him that, and he goes, no, dead serious. He goes, no. He goes, we only have 2 knees. We have a left knee and a right knee. And then my 5-year-old Jake, he goes, yeah, Dad, we only have a left knee and a right knee. And I said, well, you guys forgot about the weenie. And they both died laughing. And I mean, of course, I'm giggling because it's just stupid, simple joke.
It's stupid,
you know?
simple, and funny.
It's so much fun, man. I mean, seeing them driving around. Willie drives the tractor all on his own. I mean, grabbing firewood, bringing it over to me so I can cut it and split it. And Jake runs the log splitter all on his own. And like, he knows, stand back all the way away from it and just have the end of your hand on the handle and push it down until it breaks and then push it back up. Like, it's awesome being able to see
the growth
in them. I mean, just kids turning into little men from like just little goofballs, you know? I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah, kids are great. I'm glad that you're getting to experience all of that. You know, I get to experience through Uncle Kyle's eyes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
And man, it's so much fun. It really is. Watching these kids go from you're holding them in your arms to now they're playing t-ball and you know, gymnastics and things like that, and they're being the top of their class in school and stuff like that. It's so cool to see it. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a crazy adventure. being able to help guide them, and watch them kind of pick up on your traits and get interested in your hobbies. And
again, I'll have to
too.
take your word on that because I'm the fun Uncle Kyle.
Yeah.
So I teach them all sorts of bad things,
Well,
and then mom and dad have to deal with that. So
The fun Uncle Kyle should come up to the races with us this year because that is their favorite thing to do. They'll stand up in the top of the grandstands. We're up at Wilmot watching the dirt races. They'll stand in the top of the grandstands.
I'm in. Let me know when. I'll go.
It's awesome.
I like to experience new things
Saturday nights, man. Starting May 3rd, Saturday nights up there. It's a riot. Oh my God, it's so much fun. We'll take a whole family trip up there. We'll
Good.
take a whole trip. Yeah.
Let's do it. Mm-hmm. I'm in. I'm totally in. Yeah, like I said, I don't mind doing stuff like that. I don't get out of the house enough to mean jack. So doing something like that's going to be completely something that I don't normally do. I like doing stuff like that.
I took Hunter up there for the first time last year. He'd never been to races or anything before. So, of course, I've been talking up. Yeah.
I haven't either.
Well, I'm not going to pull the same trick on you then because this one's funny too. So I take him up there. Hunter's not really into cars or anything anyway. Like he'll stand around and look at them and be like, oh, yeah, that looks cool, but doesn't know what's going on with it. So, like, he's not interested. He's more interested in hunting and golf and that kind of stuff. So I took him up to the
golf
races.
and I like fishing and
Well,
I do have an appreciation for cars.
Yeah.
That's just my thing.
So I took him up there with me, and they had rain earlier in the day, and on dirt tracks you got to work the rain out of the track before they can run.
So it's dry.
Yeah. So all day they were out there with the rollers and the tractors and they'd come through with a tractor with a drag on the back and weight on it, and they'd tear the track up, and then a steamroller would come behind it and roll it back down, and it was just nonstop all
to
day.
pack it down tight.
So they pull the tractors off of the track, and you can hear the sprint cars start firing up in the back, and they've got small block Chevy motors in them. So you hear them firing up and come wheeling out onto the track. And I told Hunter, I'm like, oh, here we go. I said, the first heats are starting. They're getting ready to run. They were just coming out wearing the track in, just laying some sort of rubber on the track on the inside, creating the cushion.
Because it's a dirt track.
Right. So you got to lay some rubber on the packed inside, and that's what builds your cushion on the outside, So they come out and they're in like second gear doing probably 40 miles an hour, just putting around the track. I'm sitting up there like an idiot, acting like a fool, like, yeah, come on, let's go, number whatever. Yeah, he's going to get him. And Hunter's sitting there looking like, is this it? And I'm like, what do you mean this is it? I'm like, this is awesome, watching these guys drive around on dirt like this. He's like, oh, I thought they'd be faster. No more than he gets done saying that, one of the cars comes out of turn 2 and puts it into third gear and just through the back stretch, and Hunter goes, holy shit. And I'm like, oh, you haven't seen nothing yet.
They're just getting started, boy.
The whole time he's sitting there, he's like, is this all they're doing? And of course I'm playing it up like, what do you mean? This is awesome, So it was good. I mean, it's fun. It's a good time up there though, because you go down in the pits afterwards and hang out with the drivers and talk to them and
have conversations and yeah.
I mean, there's trailers down there that do full cookouts every weekend. And if you just walk by their trailer, hey, you want a burger and a hot dog? We got extras over here. And like they don't ask for nothing in return. They just got food that they're cooking, and you're down in the pits hanging out. And I mean, it's
just there.
It's a cool community,
I've been to when the Rockford Speedway was up.
One was cool.
I've been there a few times.
That one was cool,
and
man.
that was a lot of fun. Through different events and things like that, even through some of us were bored one day, like, hey, let's go to Rockford Speedway. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was awesome. Now that wasn't a dirt track though.
That was asphalt.
Yeah,
and even like you said, just being bored, you go over there on a Saturday night and just watch stock cars run on asphalt. That's cool as shit.
And it was cheap.
Yeah,
and it was cheap.
$10
back
a
then.
ticket.
Yeah, whatever it was.
Yeah.
So
and that's like Wilmot. I mean, you go to Wilmot and they're $6 a beer, but at least the beers they give you are big beers. I mean, you get the 16s,
the big ones,
and the tickets to get. I want to say it's $15 for admission for the whole night.
Whatever. It's
not for like a family to go up there. It's not a bad night.
No. And it's better than going to see a movie when it's going to cost you.
And it's cheaper.
It's probably cheaper.
It's cheaper than going to a movie.
It depends on how many beers you drink, though.
Well, that's true. That's true. But when you got the family, if I go up with buddies, it's a whole different story. But when you go with the family, I mean,
you're going to have one.
You get a couple beers, and it's more for the kids than anything. But
you ever think about making a rat rod to go up there and do something like that?
Not a rat rod. I've thought about getting into the IRA Lightning Sprints, which are they're big wing mini sprint cars that run 1,000cc motorcycle motors. And you can buy one for $5,500, $7,000, somewhere in between there. That's ready to race. Might not be competitive, but it's good enough. It meets all the qualifications. It's got all the certifications. You can put it on the track and you can go around in a circle real quick. So like I've thought about doing that, and that's still something kind of in the future, because if the boys take interest in it, if the boys take interest in it into it, I would love to get them into some form of racing like that. I think it would be the coolest thing ever, you know.
And it's about the safest thing too, when it comes to racing, because I mean you could be on dirt bikes and four-wheelers, and
they're in a full cage with a 7-point harness and helmets and everything else, and like
100% get that. So if you're going to be racing at anything, that's the thing you want to be racing at. It's only 1,000 cc.
It's like a go-kart, basically. I mean, it's like you're ripping around a track. The frames aren't, though. The frames are like the size of like a normal like yard go-kart. That's about the size of the frame. So they're small.
So they can scoot right along then.
They're doing like 80, 85 around the track.
That might be a little aggressive.
It's quick.
Well, for a kid, that might be a little
that's aggressive. There's kids up there. I want to say in the IRAs, I think they start, some of the parents, their kids are racing at like 11 or 12 years old in the mini sprint cars.
No kidding.
Kyle Busch, the NASCAR racer, his son, he's racing IRAs now, and I don't remember how old he is. But I want to say when he was 6 or 7, he had him in like the asphalt track go-kart size sprint cars, like the, whatever, single person go-karts.
Yeah.
And those even do 35 or 40 around a dirt track. And when this kid was 6, 7 years old, he had him in those racing around dirt tracks.
That's a little bit different story, though.
Kyle Busch is your dad.
I mean, you got a professional NASCAR driver kind of showing you the ropes compared to, Kyle over here who's never been in one.
Go fast,
go
and turn.
Get it, kid.
Yeah. So no,
this is when you need to apply the brake. This is when you apply the acceleration. This is where you need to be on the high side or the low side, and all of that matters. And Kyle's not smart enough to know any of that. I got an idea, but I'm not putting it to use.
I'm lucky. If I do end up getting into it, I'll have a really good. I can't say crew chief because he'll be racing against us too, but I'll have a really good teammate. It's been racing for 35, 40 years.
Yeah, that'd be awesome then, because
that's going to be something to really help myself alone and the kids, if they get into it, get along and kind of learn.
Yeah, that person can teach you the ropes, at least the basics, so you have an idea what the hell you're actually doing compared to be like
just going out there kind of blind.
Stomp on the gas, hit the brake. Stomp on the gas. It's a lot more than that.
Yeah. So it's cool though. I mean, it's just another avenue that ties in with the rest of this, because I'm sure for my YouTube page, I'll film when we're up there watching races. I'll film guys going around the tracks and the pit stuff afterwards and, whatnot. And I'll probably interview Kirk a little bit, my buddy that races up there. I'll interview him, go up to him. What are you doing, old man?
So are you getting like a GoPro to do all this filming then, or are you doing it right off your phone?
It's all right here. All right off iPhone. That's what it seems like a lot of the bigger YouTube pages are doing, because I was looking at getting actual cameras and actual tripods and whatnot, and it seems like a majority of what they're doing is in the field kind of stuff is off of just iPhones and like the selfie stick tripods that you can either set up or carry,
Correct.
And I mean, it seems straightforward. I mean, it's not, I caught myself the other day. I went to just cut blocks to set the car body on just to get it up off the ground a little bit. And I'm sitting there, my table or my chop saw, just cutting blocks. And I'm like, fuck, I should be videoing myself doing this. This is it's just a piece of something like, hey, we're cutting 8-inch blocks to throw underneath this car. So that way we get it up off the gravel and kind of get it where we want it. And like, it's just little things that over time you're going
to learn that.
It'll get second nature at some point.
Yeah, you're going to learn that. Cause I mean, some of the best YouTubers out there, that's what they do. They video
it's nonstop.
Everything.
It's nonstop.
And that's not even YouTubers. It's social media people who do general. This.
Yeah.
They video everything.
Yeah. Their whole day is videoed out. And then they just pick and choose the decent parts of it.
You got it. Yeah. And then they put that out there for the social media for people to see and for people to look at. Mm-hmm. That takes a lot though. I mean, if you think about, if you're going to video, let's just say you video 3 hours a day, you're probably only going to use 10, 15 minutes of that content.
Probably. Yeah.
That's a lot.
When you break it down and do the speed ups and everything else.
That's a lot to edit every freaking day. I mean,
you've got just as much time in editing as you do videoing.
More.
That I can, I
You
can
got more.
see that. I
Trust
guess
me,
I can see that.
You got more.
Yeah.
I mean, for what I do here, and it's not a lot, right? I mean, we sit here. We've been sitting here now for an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm going to break this down to whatever it is.
Yeah.
But to edit everything the way that I want to see it edited, it takes time. It takes it. You literally got to listen through this whole thing again.
And cut and
pick and choose.
And
I don't try to do that. I try to keep it as real as I can. But like our breaks that we had, I'm gonna cut those out. Obviously, I'm gonna cut those out.
Right.
Because nobody wants to sit here and listen to cricket. Cricket.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to listen to that. So you're gonna have to cut those pieces out. But beyond that, now and just think this is not even a dialogue. This is just you and me having a conversation.
Right.
Now, when you start going to video 3-4 hours a day, you're going to have to go through all of that, and you might pick out 15 seconds and go, "Oh, that's a good bit right there. I need to save that." So you save that part, and then you're gonna listen to another 45 minutes, and now all of a sudden you get to a 2-minute bit, and you're like, "Oh, that's really good too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna save that as well." And then you got to figure out how you're gonna break that down.
And everything in that last 43 minutes is just nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
Nothing that nobody wants to see or hear, which you won't know that until you really, really get, till you have enough, till you've done it enough, you won't really get that, But until that part, which I figured it out too. The first 20 episodes I did, man, it took me forever just because I was learning. I'm learning how to do this. I'm learning how to do that.
Yeah.
And then the last 65 episodes I've done, I'm like, oh, okay, I got this.
Yeah.
I've got this figured out a little bit better.
So it's a system to it.
So it's easier to do. And then there's specific things in your brain that stick out for that day or for that episode. You're like, I got to have that in there.
Yeah.
I'm going to break this down into a reel, whatever. I'm going to break this down
Absolutely.
into a short because you remember that part of the conversation.
Yep.
That's going to come with time. But to get to that, oh my God.
Yeah.
Be prepared to be sitting at your computer at 10 o'clock at night and just railing your head against the wall.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so it can be tiring. Editing can be really, really tiring.
Yeah.
You just have to pick and choose. Like I said, I try to keep this authentic as I can.
Yeah.
For a podcaster, I think that's really, really important. Even for somebody like you who's going on your new adventure, I think authenticity is very important as well.
Well, and that's the thing too. I mean, like we were saying earlier with the hunting channel, I don't mind putting out videos. Like if I were to put videos out and we got skunked, if we got nothing, that's the way it goes.
It happens.
It's the same thing with this. If I try something on the rat rod, if I go to weld a panel in and it looks like shit and I got to cut it out and find a different way to make a different panel, I'm not going to cut it out because it's trial and error, just like with everything else. I mean, nothing's going to be perfect on the first try.
No, I totally agree with that. You need to keep that in there. But the question is, okay, do I make this a 15-minute video of me cutting this out and going, God, this ain't going to work? Or do you make it a 3-minute video, or do you make it a 45-second video? Clip.
Right.
So that's what comes down to trial and error, because you're going to have to figure that out.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And that all takes time, and it all takes experience, and it can really suck, to be blunt with you. It really can. But at the end of the day, if you're putting something out there that everybody can enjoy, why not do it?
And that's what I'm hoping for. I mean, I know there's a lot of people out there, even in the area, people that I know and whatnot, that are into the hot rod side of things and the rat rod side of things. And it's like having someone kind of local that's making content on building the shit is kind of cool. I mean, like the closest people that I know are in Indiana that do anything with hot rods and rat rods and whatnot. So it's kind of neat knowing someone that's closer that's doing it.
Well, and it's not necessarily just rat rods, right?
Yeah.
It's literally your channel in particular.
It'll be life. Homesteading.
Yeah.
I mean, just in general.
It's those things that you're going to pick up, like, okay, I want to make this, like I said before, I'm going to make this 30-second clip. All of a sudden you put that out there and it's a big, and then all of a sudden you're going to make a 30-second clip that you didn't think really freaking mattered. And all of a sudden,
It's got
hey,
1,000 views on it. Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's going to come down to what your audience is looking for. And the only way to get your audience is to literally put content out there
Yeah.
and hope for the best.
Yep.
I
That's
mean,
exactly it.
I don't care about content.
Yeah.
I put this out there because I enjoy
We do
doing
this just to have fun. Yeah.
I do that because I learn something all the time, right? Like I learned from our conversation tonight a whole shitload. I really did. So I like learning. I like having conversations with people. So for me, I don't care if I get 50 views, 500 views, 5,000 views, 500,000 views. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm doing this because I enjoy to do it.
Yep.
So as long as you can find the balance between of enjoying what you're doing, filming what you're doing, and putting that content out there to those who do enjoy what you're doing, you're going to be just fine. Because it doesn't matter then if you get 50 views, 5,000 views, 500,000 views. If you're doing what you're doing and you're just sending it out there for the world to see you, you're going to be fine.
And that's exactly it. Because like I said, I've had an affinity for cars and stuff like that for so long. That, I mean, I don't watch TV. If I watch anything, I throw on YouTube and just watch car shit. And I know there's a lot of other
or
people out there
podcasts or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and,
I get it.
And I know there's a lot of other people out there that are like that like, it's an itch that you kind of got to scratch. And there's a certain area that's in. And like I said, for me to just do it on my own is one thing. And who knows? I mean, maybe I give it a couple months and, you know, I don't enjoy filming everything that I do. And I just kind of want to go back to the reclusiveness of doing it all on my own without anybody knowing what's going on, because I like a lot of that too. I like the surprise of it. Like when I bought the body, I didn't tell anybody until I didn't, other than back. And I stopped at my dad's house the night that I bought it because I had to show my dad.
Yeah,
I was so excited.
Of course.
But anyway, I didn't tell anybody that I had a rat rod body until I had the pictures of it and kind of like the first video,
some content
done.
Yeah.
And after that, I got yesterday.
Well, I mean, you texted me and you said, dude, I've got some exciting things going on this week. I can't really do this right now.
Correct.
You know, it was that kind of, and I was
Correct.
like, I wonder if this guy's up to something
Yeah.
right now. Like, I thought that in the back of my brain, like, did he buy another freaking pickup truck or what did
like
he,
I said,
you know?
You went driving by and I was in the middle of filming the first video and you went driving by and there is a part in there where, you know, you honked when you went by and I'm like, oh, hey neighbor. And I'm like, oh shit, that's Kyle. But
That's me.
until I got that video done, after I was done with it, before I started editing it, but after I was done with it, I just took a picture on Snapchat for my daily streaks or whatever. I just took a picture of like this much of the rear window and the side panel, and the 78, the step side was parked right here. So it was just like one of those things. And I just sent it out with no caption or no nothing on it. So it was like, I like that reclusivity of people not knowing what's going on.
You're going to find out. You're going to find out real quick on what you want to do and what you don't want to do.
Right.
You know, that's the fun thing about social media is there's no right or wrong way to do it. Everybody's going to tell you, if you want to make money, you need to do it this way. Well, that's if you want to make money. But if you enjoy
I'm just doing it for fun.
If you enjoy doing what you're doing,
That's it.
then there's no right or wrong way. Then you can do whatever the hell you want.
I'm doing it for fun. I can stop it whenever I want to. I can do it whenever I want to. I might put out a video a month. I might put out 4 videos a month. I might put out 8 videos a month.
Agreed.
It just depends on what's going on,
Yeah.
you know?
And maybe you get super busy at work and the kids are in extracurricular activities and things like that where you're like, God, I can't do this every day. I can't do this every 5 days. I can do this once a week.
Right.
So boom, you do it once a week.
Right.
Or I can do it twice a month. So you do it twice a month because that's what your schedule allows you to do.
Right.
Now, if you're going to try to make money in social media, that's probably not going to work.
You have to be
on the
posting something
every day,
multiple times a day on it in order to make money.
And I don't want to do that.
I don't either. I don't have the time for it. I don't want to.
I
would have so much time wrapped up in videoing and editing and making reels and making TikToks and putting Instagram posts up and everything else. I wouldn't have time to get anything done on the rat rod. That's why I'd rather just set my camera up on wide frame video, hit record, work on it for a couple hours. And like you're saying, at the end of the night, you just go through it and you're going to know your hot spots and this and that. And like when you're going to be,
when you go, mother,
Yeah, exactly.
That kind of thing.
And like you can kind of just scroll through the video and all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, back up 5 seconds and like, okay, so here we're
That's
gonna
a good
take,
stop and starting or stopping. Yep.
and we're gonna take the time lapse out from there, cut this 2 minutes of dialogue and make that normal speed, and then bang, we're back to a 5 times or a 10 times time lapse.
Yep.
And you just kind of work through it. It takes some time, but to me, the editing side of things is fun too. Because at the end of the night, not only did you
say that now.
Well, the thing that I like though is like not only did you get to work on what you were doing, or not only did you get to deal with the project that you're doing, it's different, like kind of what we're doing.
I agree.
Because when I'm watching the videos back, I'm watching it go from, okay, there's a body on a trailer and the trailer's not hooked up to anything. And then I go through and I start watching like my latest video that'll come up next week because I already have that one done. So I start watching that and I'm like, okay, well, now you see the truck back up, hook the trailer up, blah, blah, get inside the car, pull the body off the trailer, set it on blocks, this and that. So, like, you're watching the transition of everything as you're going, and you know when you're going to pick and pull your parts out kind of already and this and that and do your dialogue and whatnot. And podcasts are a little different than, like, a live action sort of thing.
I totally agree.
But
I totally agree with that.
The editing thing to me is, like, it's kind of cool because when I do go to chop the top on that thing, I'm going to have a 4 or 5 or 6 hours of video content of just chopping the top, just cutting the pillars and everything out, dropping it down and welding it back together. Well, when I go to watch that in time lapse to kind of time lapse the monotonous stuff and then stop for the dialogue and keep time lapsing it back and forth, I'm going to be able to sit there and scroll through the whole video and watch the top go from here and just go thump, and then you just see bright lights and welding over.
Yep.
So like I stuff like that it's kind of cool too, because you can, not only do you get to do it once already, but then you get to watch it over when you're editing it. You know, I mean, it intrigues me. It intrigues me.
To each their own. Maybe you'll enjoy the shit out of it. You know,
hopefully.
I hope you do.
I hope so too.
I hope it goes well for you.
I don't know. I like to kind of put the stuff out there and just see where it goes. And if people like it, they do. If they don't, too bad. Don't watch it.
I want to do what I'm going to do anyway.
Yeah,
right?
Don't watch it. I'm still doing the same thing.
John, it's been a pleasure.
Kyle, thanks for having me back. I really appreciate it.
Of course. I wish you the best of luck on your YouTube. Again, it's Rusted Customs.
Rusted Customs on YouTube. Rusted_Customs on Instagram. And then just my Facebook is where I'm going to be pimping it out on
check
there,
him out.
so.
Check him out. He's going to have some fun stuff, sounds like, coming up here in the near future.
Yeah.
And thanks for coming.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
It's been a pleasure.
It's been awesome.
It's
been
fun.
Great. Yeah, absolutely.
It's always fun.
Yes, sir.
John, until next time.
Yes, sir.
See you, senor.
Take care.
Bye, everybody.